All right. Thanks everyone so much for coming to the park for birthday yoga. Yeah. So we'll start out today. Thank you so much. You can always modify anything you want. So just feel free to listen to your body. I'm going to make suggestions and hopefully I'll be projecting in my New York City middle school math teacher voice in my past life. Um, so go ahead and come to your back and you can walk your feet as wide as the mat. Allow your knees to tent together. And then you could cactus your arms open to the sides or bring your hands to rest on your belly. And with your legs, if you felt like you prefer to open the knees out wide to the side, you could always plant the soles of the feet together. It's called Supta Baddha Konasana. It's like a reclined butterfly. And if at any time you're in the shade and it's too shady, or you're in the sun and it's too sunny, you can always feel free to move to another location. And just allow yourself a moment to settle in here, feeling yourself cradled by the earth. Can you feel the rise and fall of your breath? And sense the weight of gravity holding you to the ground. If you're ready to invite some movement into the body, you might start to allow your knees to gently rock from side to side. And then if you have a sense that there's an intention for your practice today, you can bring that intention to mind. For the month of August, the theme for my classes has been the third niyama, which is called tapas. And this is basically yoga's instructions on how we can live our best life. And it's called yoga's ethical practices. So tapas, the third one, literally means heat and can be translated as self-discipline, spiritual effort, change, or transformation. Tapas has the sense of cooking ourselves in the fire of discipline to transform ourselves into something new. It is our determined effort to become someone of character and strength. Tapas eventually changes our nature, turning us into a cauldron that can withstand any of life's challenges. Tapas is the day-to-day choice to burn non-supportive habits of the body and mind, choosing to forsake momentary pleasure or future rewards. Whether we practice tapas by showing up at our mat for our regular posture practice, or through constant acts of selfless service, we offer ourselves to the next higher version of us. We willingly stand the heat so that we might produce a luscious bounty with our lives. If the idea of tapas speaks to you, you might imagine it like a burning fire at your heart center. And throughout practice, if you find that your thoughts begin to wander, maybe towards anything that no longer serves you, you might offer that excess into that fire of your intention. When you're ready, you can draw your knees in towards your chest. Maybe you bring your knees towards your armpits and then walk your hands up to your ankles, up to your calves. And you might grip onto your ankles for a moment and start to rotate your feet. And then you could walk your hands up to your feet, maybe squeeze your feet and gently rock a little bit side to side, possibly rolling onto one knee, extending the opposite leg long, and then rocking to the other side. And then when you're ready, you can rock up to a seat, maybe taking a moment to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. And then if you have anything that you want to use for any self massage, like this wonderful handcrafted PDX CBD balm, you could get that ready. And maybe you want to take a little bit onto your fingernail and then bring it into the palm of your hand just to warm it up. And from here, you can bring your hands to your heart center for a moment. Allow your heart to lift up towards the sky. And then with your next exhale, allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. On your next inhale, bring your left ear over towards your left shoulder, and then you might reach your right hand up towards the left side of your neck. Oh, and just find any tension that might be living there. You could support your hand by bringing your other hand to your elbow. And when you're ready, you can release that side, bringing your hands to rest in your lap. And then exhale your breath, bring your chin towards your chest. And then we'll inhale, slide the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And then you might bring your right hand up towards the left side of your neck. And just give yourself a gentle massage here, maybe along side of the neck. You might think about this like cleaning house. Is there any tension living in that side of the neck that you'd like to release? Can you toss those things you no longer need into your fire at your heart center, using that tension as fuel? And then you can release that side of your neck. Go ahead and exhale, bring your head back to center, and then we'll inhale to lift the head back up tall. Let's go ahead and extend the right foot out to the right. I'm going to try to mirror you. I'm doing the opposite one. And then maybe you want to reach for your handcrafted PDX CBD butter once more. Take a little bit more onto your fingernail. Ooh, build some heat. And then turn and face your right toes. Give your toes a little wiggle and send a bunch of gratitude from your heart center all the way down into your toes, into your ankles, And for a moment, as you gaze lovingly at your beautiful foot, you might ask your foot, "What do you need from me?" And then go ahead and extend your spine long. Start to hinge forward from your hip and maybe reach for your ankle, your calf, your shin, I should say, that's on the front side. And you might start to reach down and massage your ankle or your foot. And if that one's not as accessible, there's one bent right here. Maybe this one is closer. Could get a massage too. And when you're ready, we'll bend into that fold and just allow yourself to drape over that leg, either allowing your hands to frame your shin or maybe reaching for your ankle or your toes. And then when you're ready, we'll walk it up tall. Bring your torso back to center. Allow your right hand to rest on your right leg, and we'll sweep the left arm up and over. And you can start to arc over, maybe gazing up as you press your forearm into your leg. And you might peer up at your lifted hand. And then with your next exhale, allow the fingertips to reach over towards the toes. And then we'll circle sweep the arm up and overhead. Maybe you take a few more rounds like that. It feels okay for the shoulder. And then with your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Go ahead and lean back. You can press your palms against the earth and then extend both legs long. Give them a little shake. And then we'll bring the right foot in to meet your left thigh. You might need to load up a little bit more on your CBD butter by Handcrafted PDX. Am I saying that right? I am, right? Okay. And then we'll take a little rub. Turn to face now your left toes and give them a little wiggle, maybe rotate the ankle. And then you can start to reach down towards your ankle or your calf, your shin. Maybe you give your foot a little rub, sending gratitude all the way down to the feet, to the ankles. Isn't it amazing how they carry you around? What can you do to support your foot? Maybe this little foot rub is the thing. As part of my tapas this month, I've made a list of things I want to do self discipline wise. One of them includes massaging my feet every day. So that's why I'm excited to have some CBD balm by Handcrafted PDF. I didn't really mean to plug you so many times, but it's just fun, and I like the laughter is good. I think there is such a thing as laughter yoga. I've never been, but it's like I think that'd be really fun. Yeah. Okay, take a moment now to fold over that leg. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale back to center. You can bring your left hand to rest against your left leg, point your toes up towards the sky, and then we'll inhale, float the right arm up and overhead, and then you can start to glide that arm down the leg, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze, allowing your fingertips to rainbow overhead. On the next exhale, you might circle sweep your hands down towards your toes and then sweep the hand back up and overhead. Could feel nice to follow your fingertips with your gaze. And when you're ready, we'll sweep it back up tall. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Once more, lean it back, reach your legs out, and just give them a little shake. And then when you're ready, we'll come into hands and knees. But if you prefer to stay seated because you don't want to be on your knees, you can do cat cow from a seat as well. So you can just sit in your cross-legged position, holding onto your knees, and then inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to round into your spine. And believe it or not, you could even do this in the chair for my peanut gallery over there. So come onto hands and knees if you're ready or you'd like to. And you can plant your palms underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And then we'll inhale to drop the belly for cow pose. Exhale to round into the spine for cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. And after you take a few rounds, you might like to explore any other movements, maybe rotating your spine by drawing a big circle with the belly button. And as you move your spine, you might tune your awareness into your intricate spine and all the different directions that it can move. Take a moment to allow for a magical bubble machine living at your heart center to flow freely from your heart. Maybe allow it to bubble around your spine. If you're drawing a circle with your belly button, you might reverse the direction of that circle. And we'll take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at. And then go ahead and come back to neutral. We'll draw the belly button towards the spine. And then on your exhale, go ahead and peek over your left shoulder, bending your hip towards your shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale to switch sides. You can take one more nice deep breath on each side. And then because we're all different in our practice and what works for us today, just assess, would you like to take a downward facing dog, or maybe you would prefer to rest in child's pose? And either option is okay, and you can always change your mind. So if you'd like to try downward dog, you can tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. You might sashay your hips a little side to side, pedaling your heels towards the mat. If child's pose will work better for you, you can bring the big toes to touch, open the knees up wide, walk the hands out in front, and lower your forehead down towards the mat. If it feels like the mat is too far away, you could always stack your forearms to make a little pillow to rest your forehead. If you're in your downward dog and you're craving a little more movement here, what about finding some stretches with three-legged dog? You could kick one heel behind you, and maybe you want to draw your knee in towards your nose to hover. Now, these are all options and choices. It's no judgment like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's whatever feels good for you and your body. We'll take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at. And then let's meet back up in hands and knees. So if you're coming from down dog, you might take a moment to just hover your knees over the earth, creating just a little bit more heat there if you'd like. And then we'll all come into hands and knees, tuck your toes under, and you can start to walk your hands back, finding a stretch for the undersides of your feet in broken toe pose. You might even lift up and sit your weight onto your heels, but that's not a requirement if that feels too intense. As you stretch through the toes, send those gratitude bubbles all the way down to your feet. And then when you're ready, you can come back to hands and knees, untuck the toes, give your feet a little tap. And then from here, we'll lift up onto the knees, reach the arms up towards the sky, and then exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. From here, you can step the left foot forward. So you're coming into a lunge. If you want to stay on the back knee, you can. If you think you want to use the strength of your muscles to bring you upright, you might tuck those back toes under and you could lift the back foot or the back knee. I'm going to stay on the knee, even though it's a little awkward on the ground, isn't it? So you can bring your hands to your thigh. Maybe you bring your hands to your hips. You could float your hands to your heart center. Maybe you lift your arms up towards the sky for either low lunge, or if your knee is lifted, you might be in a high lunge. On the next exhale, float your hands out in front, and then we're gonna pull back a bow. So your front knee is your left knee. So you're gonna use your left arm and drag the left arm back any amount, maybe to the shoulder. Maybe you spread it open behind you. Coming into a twist, you might even turn your gaze over your left shoulder. On the next inhale, we'll reach both arms back up to center. Then exhale, float your hands down towards the ground. Maybe bring them to the inseam of your foot. And you can walk that foot out. Lower the back knee if it's lifted. And then we'll bring both knees back underneath you. Find either downward dog or child's pose for your rest. And take your time. Another option of a resting pose is to come to sit on your heels, like I'm doing in Virasana, hero's pose. But I just do this because I think it feels good, even though I can see how it's somewhat torturous also. It's better with blocks. We don't have those today. When you're ready, we'll meet up in hands and knees. And then find one more knee Tadasana, I guess. I don't know what they call this pose. Tadasana on your knees, standing mountain. And then we'll reach the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. And then you can bring your hands to your hips and we'll step the right foot forward this time. And be sure to adjust your pants if you need to. From here, you can bring your hands to your front shin or your front thigh, or actually I forgot, you can pop that back knee up if you'd like. So if you want to, you can tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. That's gonna be a lot harder, so I'm not gonna do that. From here, you might sweep your arms up towards the sky, lift the heart, lift the gaze, and then exhale, bring the hands out in front. And imagine for a moment you're Katniss Everdeen. You're going to shoot your bow and arrow. So you have your front knee as your right knee. You're going to drag your right hand, maybe just to your shoulder. Start to turn your torso towards the knee. And maybe you reach the hand behind you. You can turn your gaze back. Lovely. So many awesome variations. When you're ready, you can Sweep that hand up towards the sky. And then exhale. We'll bring the hands to the inseam of your foot. You can start to heel toe your foot over to the side. And I saw some of you pause here in a lizard lunge, which is also a great option. But if you like, take a moment in your lizard lunge, or you can bring your foot all the way back, knee underneath hip. And maybe you want to pause for your child's pose, downward dog, or maybe you check in with your breath in Virasana. Wherever you land, take a moment to just tune your awareness into your breath. And then imagine your breath feeding that fire at your heart center, that intention. Whenever you're ready, we'll be meeting up in a forward fold. So if you'd like to get there any way you'd like, or you can come through downward dog. So you might come to tabletop, tuck the toes under, lift the knees, lift the hips up and back, and then maybe you walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. And you can step your feet as wide as you need to find a comfortable forward fold. Go ahead and wrap your hands around your opposite elbows and allow yourself a moment to ragdoll here, swaying side to side. You might shake your head no and nod your head yes. And then you can release your hands down. We'll bring the hands to press against the shins and press into the shins, and we'll inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And one more time. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Then go ahead and bend into your knees. Imagine your legs are like springs, and you can press yourself tall, reaching your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, press your arms up, reach tall. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart. And one more time. From here, we'll come into a warrior one. So you can walk to the front of your mat, and then we'll step the right leg back. So the toes are at 90 degrees, and you can start to bend into that front knee, any amount. From here, we'll bring the torso to face forward, and then you can inhale to reach your arms up towards the sky. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Maybe you find a little bit of a back bend. And then on the next exhale, we'll float the hands down, hover your torso forward. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale, float it forward. One more time like this. And then this time, as you inhale, we'll reach the arms up. And then exhale, float the hands behind you. And you might grab onto the back of your shirt or interlace your fingers or just float your hands behind you. We're going to come into humble warrior. So on your next exhale, you can lead with your heart. Allow your torso to come to rest on your front thigh. And you can bow your head towards the ground. Feel the strong, steady support of your legs. You can either leave your hands resting at your low back, or you might peel them away, allowing them to float overhead. On the next inhale, we'll bring the hands to the hips and then lift the torso. And you can step that back foot up to meet your front foot and then shake it all off. When you're ready, we'll come back to stillness, finding your mountain pose. You can start to feel your feet rooting down into the earth. Take a moment to close down your eyes or soften your gaze. Feel the earth rise to support you. And take a moment to revisit your flame at your heart center. Then we'll flutter the eyes open. You can bring your hands to your hips. This time we're going to step the left foot back to 45 degrees, and your feet can be on train tracks. And then when you're ready, you could bend into that front knee and bring your torso forward, pointing towards that front knee. So you're going to squaring your hips forward in a lunge. And then from here, we'll lift the hands, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Take a nice deep breath. Find length all the way from your back foot, all the way up to your fingertips. And then on your exhale, we're going to float the torso forward. Fly the hands back. Inhale, reach it up tall. Exhale, 2 more times like this, hovering the torso, floating the hands. Feel the cool breeze surrounding you. And this time, as we inhale, we'll lift back up into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. And then exhale, bring your hands behind you. This time, you could either hold onto your shirt, reach your hands back, or if you're interlacing your hands, maybe you try to interlace them the awkward way. So the opposite way that you normally do. On your next exhale, allow your torso to melt forward towards your front thigh. You can lower your gaze, soften any additional effort. Maybe you float your hands behind you, allow your knuckles to rest overhead. When you're ready, you can lower your hands to your low back and then release your hands to your hips. We'll start to inhale to rise up to center, and then you can step your foot as many times, as many steps up to meet the other one. Take a moment to shake it all off. Maybe sigh out through the mouth. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to stillness. You can inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale to swan dive it forward. Inhale here for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And go ahead and step back to either downward dog or however you'd like. You can make your way down to the mat, maybe coming into child's pose or sitting in hero's pose. Just take a moment to tune your awareness into your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll come onto our seat next. And from here, you can reach your arms out in front. Right now, you're in a version of boat pose, Navasana. You could start to lean back, strengthening through your core. Maybe you sweep your hands behind your thighs and play around with lifting 1 foot, 2 feet, maybe both feet. And so, any version of boat pose that you like. Whenever you're ready, you can land your feet and then start to roll back, coming onto your back, hugging your knees in towards your chest. We're going to get ready for a twist. So you can bring your left ankle onto your right thigh. And you could hug this shape in towards your body for figure 4, or you could land your left foot on the mat, opening your left arm out to the left. So your left foot is to your right, if that makes any sense. Maybe you want to reach down with your right hand and grasp hold of your left foot. And if you can reach your foot, you might give it a little squeeze. Maybe this is an opportunity here for a gentle massage on your foot using that handcrafted PDX CBD butter. This is a good one to do in the chair too. You put your foot on your thigh. Maybe reach down, give your foot a little rub, little squeeze. Yeah. Whenever you feel ready, you can unwind your twist, get ready for the other side, bringing the right ankle onto the left thigh. You could either find figure 4, stretching through the glutes by drawing the shape to your body, or maybe you find that twist, bringing your right foot over to the left, and then opening your right shoulder, possibly turning your gaze to the right. You might reach down with your left hand to grasp hold of your right ankle or foot. And give it a little squeeze. Our next shape is Shavasana, which is corpse pose. So feel free to linger in your twist for as long as you'd like. And you can always feel free to find any other additional poses that might help you complete your practice today. And then maybe you allow yourself this moment to rest, coming to lie on your back. Or you might even find that original shape we started class in, the constructive rest pose with your feet flat on the mat, your knees tented together, allowing your whole back body to rest heavy. As you rest, you might imagine your thoughts as clouds passing by overhead. Allow them to pass by. Feel for a moment yourself lying on the grass. Notice the unique impression that your body is making. You might take a moment to marvel at the fact that there is no one exactly like you. Feel the hug of the universe holding you to the ground. Notice if you can relax all of your effort. Allow yourself this time to delight and rest. Invite yourself into this calm center. Feel the caress of the air against your skin. Take a moment to float your awareness out into the universe. And as you float there, can you gaze lovingly back at your form, resting in stillness? Notice that magical bubble machine at your heart, allowing it to sense the awe and wonder. What a miracle it is to be alive here today in this time and place. And then bring your awareness back to the flicker at your heart center. And you can allow the words to float past you, maybe imagining them like little drops of rain. Just allow them to fall where they may. Coming back to this idea of tapas, and a short reading from the book by Deborah Adele, Yamas and the Niyamas, Yoga's Ethical Practice. She says, somewhere we forget we had to learn how to walk. We forget how many times we fell. We forget that things take practice. The question becomes for us, what are we practicing for? To become something in the future takes effort in the now. In yoga, having a daily disciplined practice is referred to as sadhana. It is the discipline of putting ourselves in places where the old debris that has collected in us can be removed. We engage in this process when we pay attention to the amount and kind of food we put in our bodies, when we move and exercise our bodies through walks, yoga, or other activities, when we expand our mental ability or study scripture with like-minded people. Patabi Joyce reminds us, practice, and all is coming. Saint Francis of Assisi, in his well-known prayer, speaks eloquently to the possibility of transformation for each human being. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Take a moment to deepen your breath. When you feel ready to reawaken the body, you can start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Find a long body stretch, reaching your arms past your ears. And then maybe roll onto one side, finding a fetal position, allowing your head to be resting on your upper arm. And then when you feel ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. When you're ready, we'll invite our hands to meet at our heart centers. And we'll close our practice by chanting together, or you can just listen in one round of Om and then singing 3 rounds of Shanti, 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 which means peace within ourselves, to each other, and for the rest of the world. Go ahead and exhale all of your breath out. And then we'll take a nice deep breath for Om. Om. Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. You can allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. Thanks everyone for joining me. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions about class. And remember, there's cupcakes to be had for birthday yoga.